Well, hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? Audio check, audio check. I know I had some audio issues on my last one, so hopefully my audio is good today. Hoping so. Thumbs up in the chat. Can hear me okay? I think I can hear myself, so I think I'm good. I guess I'll just wait for someone to say, you can't hear me. Taker Foo, good to see you. Ollie, thank you for joining. Okay, audio's good. I will continue. How's everyone doing today? I have been really busy. Crazy busy, and actually I'm busy today as well. These day jobs, man. Like, who invented the day job? Who invented the day job? Like, ugh. If we could just go back in time and get rid of these things. Fighting bad architecture. Yeah. So, I have a meeting in an hour. So I have an hour to kind of talk about some stuff I've been working on. And so I was thinking, you know, like, well, what should I talk about today? I only have an hour. What could we cover? Timebender, good to see you, my friend. And so this week I have been doing a prototype for an Office add-in using React. And I thought I could kind of show that off a little bit and then play around with React function components, which are pretty cool. So when I first learned React and started learning React, you know, you use just a React component. It's more like almost like a class-based approach, right? And then the new thing is, you know, the function components out of React. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So when I wrote this prototype for my Office add-in, I used the function component instead, just to kind of learn it and play around with it, and it was pretty cool. So I thought I'd figure that out and show you what I learned, right? Because this is new to me, so I thought I'd share kind of what I figured out. Yeah, so let's start with that. So you know what would be cool? How about I show you all the extension that I wrote? Tinker Foo, React, also on my thing to learn. Awesome. Yeah, I'm learning as I go. Jeremy Knight, good to see you. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate you, my friend. And so, for me, the best way to learn something new is to just write something in it, right? That's what I do. So, I wrote this add-in. Holy crap! C# Fritz! C# Fritz! We have a raid, my friends! We have a raid! C# Fritz, my friend, raiding us. You must defend the chat. Defend the chat, everyone. Don't let them come in here taking our turf over. I don't think so. Mr. C# Fritz, thank you for bringing your squad. Thank you. Good to see you, my friend. It has been a while. I hope your stream went well. Your stream always goes well. When's the last time you had a bad stream? Right? When's the last time? So, for everyone who just joined me, defend C#. RN090, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. And so, for everyone who just joined, I'm about to talk about my journey with React and writing an Office plugin, which it was kind of fun. It was kind of cool. C# DevOps, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. So when I learn a new technology, the best thing I can do is just write something, okay? And so what I did was I wrote an Office add-in for Outlook that allows me to take content from the email and send it to another application that we have, okay? And so, what's that? Mark, oh, I missed that name. I'm so sorry. Ruiz, 83. I butchered that name. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. While your stream, I wrote some Xamarin Forms with Prism some years ago. Nice. Good to hear. Yes, Harrison464. Things are going good. Long time no watch. Long time no stream. I've been really busy. My day job has been keeping me extremely busy. So what I want to do is I want to kind of show you the Outlook add-in that I wrote using React, okay? So first, I'm gonna start this up. It's npm run start web. So what this is going to do is this is going to start the basically the debugging server for my Outlook add-in. And it kind of looks like this, right? It's gonna start up, it's gonna build, and then at the end it's gonna say, you know, completed. Yeah, compiled successfully. So now my server is running, okay, locally. This is a little node server, as you can see. Now I'm going to open up on this window first. I'm going to open up Outlook online. So I think it's outlook.live.com. Let me log into my mail. And then we'll use this email. Right, from Twitch. Because Jeremy Knight _me just followed me. And so what this allows me to do is, hold on, let me open up another, my dev server. So at Infragistics, we have a product called, it's called Slingshot. And this is the dev server for Slingshot. This is what I play around in. And one of the things we can do is we have tasks. So we have a task list, we have projects, teams, like it's this whole thing, right? With teams and projects and all that stuff. Binary Nexus, oh my God, Brian, we hung out with Chandler Dahl a couple of years ago at IT Dev. Oh man, IT Dev Connections. You had a Unity demo the next day. We were out to 4 a.m. I do I don't remember what's your real name, Binary Nexus, and I may remember you, but I do remember that time. I do remember that time. We stayed out pretty freaking late. But part of this application is, so we have teams, right? We have tasks, we have task lists, we have sections in this task, right? And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to write an add-in that allowed me to save an email. Actually, let's go to deleted items. I want some content here. So this is my email. How about Stack Exchange? Right. So what I can do now is I can take this email. Whoops. I can hit this little menu. Oh, hold on. I'm hiding it. Let me hide my camera real quick. Okay. So I have my little menu item here that says Slingshot, and I have a couple of test panes or test buttons. So now what's going to happen is this pane is going to show here, and it's really off to the side, but I can go ahead and I can pick like my teams. Wait, which team do I want? Do I want this team? No, I want that team. I want this team. And then I could pick my task list, which I only have one in this case, my personal task list. And then my section, personal test or my section. I'll pick my section, and I'm gonna save this email as a task. You can see my saved email as task, Slingshot task message. I'll dismiss that. And then if I come over to this here, I should be able to refresh this. Right? And then, where's it at? Did it not work? Wait, what did I do? What did I do? Which one is it? Is it my unit test one? No, that's not it. That's not it. Let's delete that. Thank you for the follow, everyone. Imagine the possibilities of integrations. Yes, this is really cool. This is really cool. Which one was it? Was it this one? I lost which email I was doing. But the idea is, let me pick a different one. Oh, wait a minute. How about this one? How about that one? Let's try this. And I'm going to pick my personal test, save as task. Okay, and that okay, so that seemed to work. That seemed to have worked. Let's see if this works. It's not working. It's not working. Is it? Anyways, it worked yesterday. It worked yesterday because here's my my newsletter, right? Here's my research study for example tooling, right? Email I sent. I'm still messing around. Actually, let's go to this. No, it looked like it worked. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I was playing around with the server and I was messing with CORS, the CORS policy. right? Which, by the way, if you've ever done web development, that CORS product, I mean, the CORS policy is a real pain in the butt. But I was messing with CORS, so that's why. I didn't fix that, sorry. But the idea is, because this did work last night before I changed that, I was able to create an Outlook add-in, use it in React, and then, boop, I can save that into this application. So like, hey, I had this task that someone emailed me. I'm going to convert this to a task in Slingshot, and now I can track this. So, and that was the idea. And what I did during that process was I learned React function components doing that. All right, okay, and this was the app. I'll get behind on my chat here. It worked at some point, ship. Yep, exactly. Yeah, C# DevOps, CORS. It's like everyone has a problem with it. Yes, it is. And there's some settings on the ASP.NET MVC project I was working with. You can actually turn that on and off. And I was trying to, last night I was turning it on, turning it off, turning it on, trying to get it to work. And I turned it on and forgot to turn it back off. But it worked. It did work. Anyways, so I thought I would kind of talk about the difference between like React component, right? So this is how I initially learned React, right? I initially learned React with React component. You pass in your props, you pass in your states as types, right? And then it's more of a class-based approach. Oh, I should bring my camera back. I'm not blocking anymore. But it's more of a class-based approach. As you can see, you know, I get teams, I have a base URI, I have my basically my API endpoint, my header information. I get the data, convert it to JSON, get the data, and then I set state on my team's property, right? So, I mean, it's pretty verbose. That's one thing I don't like about React. It is freaking verbose, man. Woo! It's crazy verbose. However, you know, it's pretty flexible. I'll give it that. And so this is what a like the React component looks like. But then we get into the functions. And so this is more what a function looks like. It's from React.fc, and it's so much simpler. So let's go ahead and create a new project, right? Let's create a new project, and let's play around with it and show you kind of how it works. First, I'm gonna stop this. npm run stop. Oops. npm run stop. Okay, cool. So I'll close that out. I'm done debugging that. I'm going to open up my dev folder here, and I have a folder I put all my React apps in that I dink around with. I'm gonna open up a command prompt. So if you didn't know, if you're ever in your Windows Explorer and you want to open a command prompt in that location, just type in this little address bar, CMD, and it will open up in that directory, right? And so I'm going to create a new React app using TypeScript. So I'm just going to say npx create React app. The name of the app, which is, I guess, demo. And then the template will be TypeScript. Oh, I misspelled React. I can't type. There we go. And so this is just, yes, Harrison 464 got it. Too bad the chat isn't faster, right? It's a little of a delay on the chat. But yeah, so this is basically going to create my default React application using TypeScript. I am a huge fan of TypeScript. And actually, coming from C#, TypeScript has made it easier for me to pick up these new web frameworks, right? Angular, Vue, and React. C# DevOps is not the chat. That's the one which is live. Huh. I don't know. It seems like a delay on my side. Could be my app that I'm using before I get the chat. All right, so normally it doesn't take this long to create an application. Normally it's much faster than this on my machine. Anyways, well, deleted the folder demo, so that's good. Hasn't done much else. MR, Mr. XX99, which framework do you prefer? .NET Craig, thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. Well, I am historically a desktop developer. Okay, I am a hardcore C# WPF Xamarin Forms, XAML developer, all about the MVVM. I run the Prism project, which has nearly, I think we might have passed 14 million downloads, and it's a framework for building C# XAML applications. And so I am always comfortable in that. However, I am learning more and more and more and more about the web because it's part of my job, right? Neo Knox, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. This project is still being created. So I haven't formed an opinion yet. I've done a lot of Angular. I've definitely done a lot of Angular. We'll go cd demo and code. Whoops. Open that up in code. I've done a lot of Angular, so I'm comfortable with Angular. I like Angular because it's very prescriptive, right? It's a framework that kind of guides you down a path. All the apps are built the same. I really like that. It's easier to context switch between different applications because they're all built the same. Now, the more I'm learning about React, I like it. It's pretty flexible, but there's some things that flexibility is also, I see as a con to React because every app's going to be written differently. It's going to be structured differently. And so when you're jumping between applications, it's going to be harder to do that context switching as opposed to something like Angular. But I'm trying to reserve my judgment because I need to learn more before I can form a solid opinion on these things. Isn't React a library instead of a framework? I'm trying to remember. A library is I'll call you, and then a framework is you'll call me, or something like that. And I think it really goes into, I think it's a framework. It does enough to where it's a framework because it has binding, all that crap built into it, and hooks and all this other stuff. It's a full-blown framework. Harrison464, have you tried React Native? Not yet, but I'm going to. I actually have another prototype I need to do for work. I'm creating a app because I need to prove a concept. You know, I want to write cross-platform apps, so I want to write an app in Windows, iOS, Android, using the same code base. So React Native might be a pretty good approach to that. All right, so when we create this project, our project's done. We have our tsconfig, which obviously is our TypeScript configuration. We have our package.json. This is obviously the package information for running scripts and our dependencies for npm dependencies and stuff like that. What we care about is our source. Now, I want to go to the index.tsx, and this is kind of the entry point to the application. And you can see where we have an app component here. So the app component, this is our main component. So app.tsx. Now, because I'm using TypeScript, this is TSX. If it was JavaScript, I think it would have been JSX, right? Isn't that right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. What was that? Flutter? Flutter may be another option. Murray says Xamarin Forms is a good fit. No, I don't think Xamarin Forms is going to do what I want it to. I think it's too... For one, the tooling in Xamarin Forms is slow as crap on Android. It's ridiculous. Like, performance just sucks. I'm sorry. Dan says Uno Platform is always great. Uno Platform is good, but I don't think it's there yet. I don't think it's there. The tooling in Uno Platform blows. Right? Like, everyone knows the second you add an Uno Platform project, it's not their fault. Like, trust me, it's not their fault. It's Visual Studio. You get underlines and errors and issues, like, and it's not consistent across all the different targets yet. I mean, they have a long ways to go. They're getting there. But I would not personally write a real cross-platform production app in it yet. Unless it's small, like maybe a small mobile app or something, possibly. All right. But anyway, so in this default template they gave us, you can see they're using functions now, right? So I'm going to go ahead and run this so we can see what it looks like. npm start. So I'm just going to start the project. I didn't make any changes. And we'll see what the default project looks like. C# DevOps really loves Xamarin, but the UI as well. For UI, Flutter wins. Yeah, Flutter's got great UI components. Their whole, what do they call them? Widgets. They call them widgets. They have a huge selection of widgets. So here's the default app, okay? And I wonder if I can just kind of put this off to the side. And maybe we can just minimize that and kind of work side by side. I wonder if, let's try this. Well, maybe I could shrink it down a little more. I want a little more dev space. I want a little more dev space. Okay. So what I'm going to do is if we look, I'm going to just delete everything inside that app right there. So I'm going to save that. And then it should update over here. Nothing, right? And so in React, you always think of components. This maps well to me because as I'm learning React to these platforms, I already think in components. I think as user controls because WPF, you know, I think of user controls and my apps use Prism and they're all made up very modular, like small user controls. So this thought process already maps well to the way I think, the way I code. And so, for example, let's create a new component. So I'm going to create a new file. Let's call this counter.tsx. Right, let's start by, so what I want to do is I want to create a counter component that we're going to put in here, right? Oh, let's get rid of that. All right, so I need to import React from React. Seems pretty simple. And then I'm going to export const counter. Right, and then I'm trying to remember this. React.fc. Right, something like that. I think that's right. Is that right?
Another one. Another one.
Okay, void is not assignable to type.
Another one.
Really, it's not? Oh, I forgot. And then I have to return some. I got to return something from this. So in this case, let's just do something simple. Let's return a an H1 with hello. All right, so that should fix that problem. Now, if we come into here, I'm going to use my counter. And there we go! Oh, it worked! Yay! Woo! Okay. So, thank you. Okay, settle down. Settle down. So, I went kind of fast. I had a question, Ali. The concept of React component any different from Prism UI module? Yes. I wouldn't think of the component as a module. I think of the component as a user control instead, right? It's a single consolidated UI component. Think of it as like a custom user control, right? Something like that if you're in XAML world. Okay. Crazy Chabby, thanks for the follow. Murray02, thank you. Harrison Force, for time to update the resume now that you're a React developer. Yeah, and so what's interesting about React is, as you can see here, I'm returning HTML, okay, from this function. So this React.fc, this stands for function component. And technically, you don't have to have that. Like, technically, I can do this. Okay? But the problem is if I do that, I don't get a lot of the TypeScript error checking. So if I cut that out, I just like, can I do that? Yeah, see, I get error checking, better error checking if I had, put that back, that. So technically I didn't need it, but you'll see how you'll want it in TypeScript. You're going to want that. Okay. So JSX is basically code. It's kind of like Razor, actually. Nerd Herder seems somewhat similar to a Blazor Razor component. Yes, it's very similar where you can have code inside of your HTML and you return HTML. Okay, so for example, what can we do here? Okay, so we have our app counter. And then we have our counter component. Now, there's one thing that's interesting about React. Let's go let's do const count equals 0. So let's play around a little bit. Okay. Let's add a paragraph tag here. And we're going to put count in here. Okay. Now I'm starting to get some issues. Right, starting to get some problems here. because I need to wrap this stuff in a div. Boop. Perfect. Hold on, what's my format document? There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna save this and let's just kind of play around and see how this behaves, because it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird the way this works. So I'm gonna put a button in here, and let's say count, and then let's create a function const increment. Right, and then we're gonna say count plus plus. Oh, it's a constant. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry. I'm trying to get to a point and I gotta set myself. Okay. And then I'm gonna say on click equals increment. Okay, so I'm gonna save this. And I'm clicking the button. And it's not updating. Why is it not updating? So let's do a console.log. I said .log, not .console. And let's log out count. Right, let's come over to our tools over here and hit F12. And I'm gonna hit count. I can see that the count is being incremented, right? Like it's being incremented, but it's not working. Like the binding's not working, right? And so one thing that was kind of weird for me to wrap my head around was the concept of like state. So instead, what I want to do is I'm gonna do something called, what is it? Const count. Whoops, wrong thing. Count set count equals use state. And you can set a default value like 0. Okay. So essentially, I know, I'm getting there. So essentially what's happening, it helps if I spell things correctly. You have to use what's called state. And so if I want to increment this, I have to use set count, and I think I could count plus 1. Right, so I'm gonna save that, and that should have done it, right, actually. What's this say? Cannot assign count because it's constant. Really? Am I assigning it somewhere? Okay, now look. Now it works. Right? Now it works. In Blazor, this would work already. Yeah, see, that's different. So when I was coming from Blazor, like Blazor makes a lot of sense to me because I'm a C# dev. But coming into here, that was weird for me. This was really weird for me. What's this whole point of I have to like do this count, which is the name of your property or variable, then set count, which is essentially a method to set the value of that, and then your binding will work, right? Like that was very strange for me, and the concept is still kind of weird. It's still kind of weird for me. So essentially, for every like, if I wanted to add another one, I don't know, test, set test, right, equals use state. Right, like that's how you have to do it that's how you have to define your variables in your property. Like it's kind of strange. Okay, and then let's say, for example, Bob LOL, web noob here. Does the library compile that into valid.js? Yes. So after you do a build, I believe this actually uses Webpack by default, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look. Well, maybe Webpack's not in here by default. What does it use? Probably just compiles the TypeScript down to JavaScript, but I would recommend using Webpack to package things up nice. But it does convert it to JavaScript. It minimizes it and all that crazy stuff, okay? All right, so let me minimize this. I want more space. Okay, so we have our count working, right? It boop, 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 it works. Now, what was also interesting that I had to figure out is, you know, what if I wanted to pass data? Like, what if I wanted this hello to be like set by the user? Like, this is a component. It has properties that you're going to set and information you're going to pass to it, right? And so that's when I figured out that you have this thing called props. And so a common approach to this is you'll say interface counter props, right? And then once you have your, who's that? Bob LOL, thanks for the follow. So once you have your interface, then you start defining your properties that you're going to pass into your component. So for example, let's say we have a title, and that's going to be of type string, right? And then what I want to do is I'm going to use a generic here. This is going to be counter props. And then I'm going to pass in my IP there. And now what this allows me to do is I can now bind p.title. You see that? Pretty cool. Roneros98, thanks for the follow. Club's finished. Brown goes to stream a day, keeps the doctor away. I appreciate that. Okay, so now this is interesting because what happens when I save here? We're going to get a problem. What's the problem? Well, I got to go to my app here. It's like, look, I am missing a title. Okay, so if I set my title, now I can set a property on this. Hello from app. So let's save this. And that should... Did I mess something up? Where did I mess up? Property title is missing in type, but required counter props. Counter props, title. No, it's right here. I said it right here. Thank you for the follow. Okay, this should work. I'm setting the title right there. See that? P.title, props. Yeah, so easy, exactly. This is what I struggle with. Now, if I make it optional, it should still work.
This may seem like a stupid question.
That is so strange.
Can I call you back in a bit?
So it worked. Do you see that? It worked. Now, I wonder... So by putting this question mark, I made it optional. You see that? I wonder if I have to deconstruct it. Like, then I can do this. Right? Right? Cannot find title. Well, title is right there. See, and this is my problem, like learning React. It's so finicky. It's very strange. I deconstructed it. So I should be able to pass it in. It's right here. It's right there. Now, it's not... Yeah, this doesn't exist, which is nice. But it doesn't work when it's not optional, but specified. Exactly. Exactly. You could use Blazor instead. I don't think Blazor's ready. I don't think Blazor's ready for prime time. Sorry, I said it. It's cool, don't get me wrong. But they got some issues to figure out. Performance issues specifically. Blazor client side, WASM is stupid slow. Stupid slow. And then you have Blazor .core, right? ASP.NET Core server, which is much faster, but it uses SignalR, and so you're going to have scaling issues there. Because SignalR can only do so much, right? So, yeah. Now, I'm curious why that didn't work. It works now. Like, I could change this. See? But, when I make... Wait a minute! Wait a minute. It's working now. What the hell? Wait a minute. I made it not required. I mean, I made it required. And now it's working. So weird. You added P. I had that before, though. I had that before. Well, let's do a refresh. What the heck? Okay. I had P.title. I had that last time. I just removed it because I tried to deconstruct it. Weird. That's very weird. That's extremely weird. Okay, well, anyways, it's working. I don't know. Now that's working, so I should be able to come back here. Hello again. Yeah. Now, what's also cool about this is I can expose really anything. Like, for example, I can have an event. No, I didn't. Are you sure? Okay, I'm going to undo. I'm going to undo all the way back. Yes, I did. Ali, look, I did undo. I'm right back where I started. Right there. Save. Refresh. And it's working. See, I undid. I undid it. Okay. Now, what's really cool is you can like pass in not just, you know, strings and titles, but if you had like a person, maybe an array of people or something like that, right? Well, I don't have a person defined, but you get the idea. But what's also cool is I could do like a callback, which is an event. So let's say I wanted this increment to actually be called from the app. So let's call this callback. But I need to know what kind of... This is an event of... Okay, right there. Is that right? The syntax always gets me. I gotta put my type in there. I'm pretty sure that's what I had. Is that it? Nope. The syntax is what gets me. I think that's it. Is that it? No, that's not. Is that it? Is that it? Maybe that is it. I don't think that's it. Oh, whoops. P.callback. Maybe that is it. Okay. So, theoretically, hold on, let me make this optional. Made that optional. Okay, so that doesn't work anymore, but now I can come in here and I can add another function. Say, for example, I could, where do I want to put this? Let's do this. I'll put it inside here. Const increment. No. What do I want to do? Do I want to do function inside there? I'm not sure how I want to do this. Yeah, you know what? I want to put this inside because... How do I format? I'm still learning. Okay, here we go. So now I can do this, increment, and the callback equals increment. Now let's put a console.log in here. And we'll put, you know, testing. Let's see if that worked. Yay, it worked! It worked! Beautiful! I like it. Okay, cool. So, I mean, as you get used to it, I mean, the syntax thing really gets me. My brain keeps wanting to switch between C#, and then I gotta switch to TypeScript, right? But now, you know, if we did this, we could define... We can move this out if we wanted to. For example, I could put that here. Actually, I should have just copied this whole thing. Theoretically, we could bring all that out. I have to add my use state at the top there. And then let's add Let's add count string, right? And this could be p.count. And then our count, here, actually, let me bring it under here. Our count can then bind to count. Right? There's our count. What's this? Oh, come on, Brian. It's actually number. Everything's a string. Everything's a string. Okay, so this. Okay, what's this say? Count is missing. See, this is the same thing. It's the same thing. P.count. Count is there. Let's do a hard refresh. It's not missing. It's not missing. It's right here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, it's working now. I saved it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Is there a save all? There's got to be a save all. When you're in web, they should have a save all button because you have to save everything or it won't work. Okay, so now I should still be able to click this button and it still works. Right? It still works even though I moved all that logic out of the component. But I'm able to handle the callback of the button click. Right? On click, I'm calling this callback. I'm bound to that count, and I'm bound to that title of this interface in my props. And then I moved all that logic to the application function. And now I'm dinking around. I'm able to use all this state and stuff binding to this, which I thought that was pretty cool. Shift Alt F is format. Shift Alt F. Okay, I got to remember that. I got to remember that. Dan says he believes Control Shift S will save all. Okay, let's make a change. I made a change here. You said Control Shift S. No, that's save as. I don't see a save all. I see saves. Oh, save all. Control KS. Whoa. Control KS. Okay, nope, that wasn't it. Control plus K. What? What is this? Control plus K. S. Control K. That's not working. Control KS. That is not working. I'm sorry. Control plus K. Yes, I did that. Control KS. Oh, that was it. Woo! Elsaria with the subscription. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Swing. Okay, now I broke something because I was messing around. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it was... Don't you guys just love watching me learn freaking shortcut keys? Control K, release S. That's what it is. Okay, so everyone, to get this to work, to save all, you have to press Control K, then let go and S. Got it? Dan! Hip swing! Dan with the sub. Thank you, my friend. Is that a Twitch Prime? So, Control K, release S. That's how you do it. Control K, release S. That's save all. That's gonna be a tough one to remember. All right. What's that? Of course, Basil's Bucks, baby. Ali, how was Dan not subscribed? Dan's been subscribed for 9 months, actually. 9 months on a 1 month streak. Whatever that means. All right, now I got to scroll back up to my chats because I saw Stroth J. I'm going to copy this really quick. He had a UseEffect hook in here. Let's add this to a declaration. And I'm going to form... what was it? It was Shift Alt F. Okay, that's not really what I was going for, but... Shit. I'll do that. Oh, okay. So, UseEffect. If count equals 10, congrats, you can ride the roller coaster. Count. Okay, Stroth J. What were you getting at here? Because if I remember correctly, the UseEffect hook like fires like every second or some crap like that, doesn't it? Like it fires all the time. The count variable in... Oh, got you. So when this hits 10... Alert. Got it. Yeah, so I haven't used this yet, but I was researching it. And I believe it fires like every second. React UseEffect. A simple explanation of UseEffect. Okay. Yeah, they're relatively difficult to get started. Yep. I will tell you, freaking React has a huge learning curve. Huge. So, the hook that manages side effects in functional React components. So, effect is for side effects. What do they consider a side effect? So, a functional component makes calculations that don't target the output value, then these calculations are named side effects. Examples of side effects are fetch requests, manipulating DOM directly, using timer functions, and more. Oh, fetch requests. See, gets a little confusing. Bad. Use a side effect. So anytime you manipulate the DOM or do calculations. Yeah, see, runs after every rendering. That's what it is. UseEffect runs after every rendering. So every time it renders. And when it renders, what happens is this return method is called, and it draws the component again. Right? So what happens is when I change state, now correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone who's watching this, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is when I change the state, that will then trigger React to basically redraw a portion of that component, right? So because I'm updating the count, React is going to basically call a return again, and it's going to update. That's how the update happens. It basically redraws it. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I do believe it gets redrawn. It's not like in WPF, where you have a binding and you just change the underlying data source that implements iNotify property change, and then the value changes and the UI just updates like that one portion. The whole UI isn't redrawn. However, I believe they do some smart stuff with making sure they only redraw the portion that changed or something like that. I need to learn more about that. I'm very, very new to this. Very new to this, right? LFs, yes, when you change state, and since you added a count dependency, count to UseEffect every time count is changed, the UseEffect function will run and re-render. LFs, thanks for the follow. When the props of your app component changes or its internal state, it schedules a re-render of that component and all its children. Perfect. Okay, so I'm right. However, can you verify that? Will it draw the whole thing? Like, will it just call this return method, and will it redraw the entire component, or will it say, oh, you know what? Only this part of the counter changed. Let's only redraw the paragraph, the p tag, in this, right? Like, does it do any type of like mapping to where it checks the visual trees and like? Because I would imagine like redrawing the entire view would be like a huge performance hit, right? So they have to do something smart where they're only redrawing a portion, right? Stroth J, there's two phases, render and commit. React compares its internal memory representation of the DOM to the changes caused by the renderer and only changes the DOM if something is dirty. Okay. But will it change the entire DOM? Like in this component, for example, when I change count, will this entire div be replaced? Or will just this paragraph? Will only the paragraph be? That's what I'm curious about. Is the entire div redrawn? Or just, oh, okay, perfect. So only the changes to the P. Oh, that's awesome. That's good to know. That's really smart, actually. That's incredibly smart. Okay, what time? Oh my, I got 10 minutes. I have a meeting with my boss in 10 minutes, so. But you know what? I mean, I'm learning a lot, and doing that Outlook add-in that allowed me to, oh, did someone turn show avatars on? C# DevOps turned on the avatars. Now, just in case you're curious, you can actually like attack other avatars. You can like there's a list of commands. So if you scroll down, if you're on the website, you scroll down. There's a list of commands of what you can do. I think I can do like something like mass bomb or something like that. Is that right? Yeah, I could drop bombs. I can drop bombs. I kick all your butts. Oh, take that. There's even a battle royale, which I guess I put the price up so high, not many people can invoke the battle royale. Oh, okay, Dan, I see how it is. I see how it is. All right, so that's my only thing with React. So I'm learning React. I did that Outlook add-in using React. I learned a lot doing that, but it's a huge learning curve for sure. And even now, I can't remember the syntax for a lot of things. And then it's really weird when sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And maybe that was because I wasn't saving all the files, right? Most likely that was the problem, is I probably wasn't saving all the files properly when I would add something here, right? But compared to the component approach, I think I kind of like the function approach a little better. Oh, is anyone's video frozen or just me? Dan says just you. All right, it does look like my, am I streaming okay? Oh no, my stream's fine, my stream's fine. Okay, as I was saying, I kind of like the function approach a little better. I don't know why, I think it's because I don't have to deal with like setting state and defining state in like 3 different locations. Because if I remember correctly, you know, if I were to do, what is it? I can't even remember. Const test component. It's just, something like that. I don't really remember, honestly. I can't remember that syntax. But, like, you had to have your props in here, and then your state. Right, and then you had to like define your state and your props. Like it's really confusing for me. It's very verbose. So I kind of like the function component right now a little better, mainly for that reason. Like I think this is easier to understand for me. Like there's a little less going on, right? And what I need to do, you know what I need to do? I need to write a code snippet that I can create a function component with a default props interface. And I've seen some examples where you could decompose, like you could say title, string, right? And then it would be like title. But I could never really get that to work. See, I could never get that to work for some reason, but you should be able to do that. You should be able to do that. I can't figure out the syntax right now. I got a lot to learn for sure. Tech Workbench. I refresh. You stream every 5 minutes as I try to debug in Visual Studio and press F5 at the wrong window. Okay. Dang. Okay, 10:54. All right. All right. Well, everyone, I have a meeting with my boss, so I have to call it a day. But I just wanted to share with you, you know, my kind of learning experience with React and kind of what I'm learning. I can't form an opinion on it yet. Like right now, I'm still in that learning phase. Yes. Skogo, React with TypeScript. That's what we covered today. React with TypeScript. I'm still in my learning phase, so I want to hold my judgments until I get a full understanding of what I'm dealing with. It does seem very flexible. Like I could see the allure of, man, I could do a lot of things, but I also see that as being a con. Like, holy crap, I could do a lot of things differently, different ways, and there's no like any real rhyme or reason to it. But I'm gonna keep at it. I'm gonna keep learning more. And you know, I made a mistake. When I was writing that Office add-in, I should have just started streaming it because I did it all freaking day. Right? So next time I start a project, I'm just going to start streaming it because you never know. You're going to see me struggle learning it. But, you know, you might be able to learn with me and help me out, actually. I need your help. So next time I start a project, I'm just going to turn on my stream and just start streaming it. And then everyone can watch me struggle. So, all right. Nerd Herder, that's the best part, the learning process. Skogo, is there a specific end goal? No, not really. My end goal is just to learn. I never stop learning, right? And in my job, I'm constantly dealing with different technologies. And I want to be better, well-rounded. Like, I don't want to be an expert in anything. I want to know a little about a lot, right? Instead of knowing a lot about a little, I want to know a little about a lot. I think that'll make me grow a little more. All right, as a person, as a developer, that's just me. Yes, a generalist. I'd rather be a generalist. Timebender360, please stream regularly, as it's great. I appreciate that, Timebender. Thanks a lot. Ali, I've heard things can go wrong with React a lot more, especially if you don't know what you're doing. I can definitely see that. You saw me, you know, just struggling with the most basic stuff. Granted, I just learned it yesterday, right? I just learned it yesterday. So my memorization of syntax isn't there yet. So that's mostly my fault. As I become more experienced, that should happen a little less and less and less. But the hooks, I'm really interested in learning more about the hooks. All right, so I got my meeting. Let's go ahead. Who's streaming right now? Let's find someone to raid. You know what? Code Rushed is streaming right now. So let's go give was it /raid Code Rushed. All right, everyone. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Thank you for watching me struggle and help me learn more about React. I love you all. I appreciate you all, and I will see you all next time. Let's have a raid.